Alright, Bo's just opening up the second roll of fence. We got another 330 foot. We're going to start here. We're going to work our way across towards the garden, and then we have to finish the other part of the fence where he left off with the other roll of fence, and we're going to stop right there, probably a little bit past where the meat bird tractor is.
Middle of the trailer.
And that's where we're going to put the gate at. By the what? Oh, by the trailer, yeah. We're going to have it over there, that way makes it easier to go out. They're going to have all this area here, all the way back to the tree line. There's a small pond right there. You can't see it from here because it's completely overgrown. So this tool that Bo is using, okay, 1 second. So this tool that Bo is using is something that he discovered after, what was it, the first fence or the second fence you were working on?
I knew about it, I just didn't get it.
So you did the whole first fence?
For the screwdriver.
And then you used it for the hog fence?
Yeah.
And what is it? Hold it up. Alright, hold it up so I can see. What? You don't know what it's called, or?
It's a T-post clip tool.
Yes, and I would suggest getting this. Makes a world of difference. He had a little bitty screwdriver, one of those little short-handled ones, and it worked, but took a lot more time. Here you go. This is the most tedious part of it, is getting the base of the fence in place. What's the tool you have down there at the end that you use to tighten it?
Just to come along.
Yes. And we didn't know about that at first before we put our first fence up. I mean, I'm sure you'd probably heard of it, but we didn't really.
Yeah, I used it on the first one.
But I'm saying before we did our first fence, that wasn't a tool that you typically would use.
It wasn't a tool that I even own, no.
Yeah, you'd probably heard about it, you know, I'm sure, sometime or other.
It's basically a 2,000 pound winch, but they call it a come along.
And we don't have a truck or a tractor, so I think some of those videos you watched, there's other methods that you can use, but we went out and purchased that. And another thing that we learned when we did the first fence is we had the fence standing up, right? Before you went back and watched a video and saw that it's better to have it laying down. And
well, it's better to lay it down so you can get it tight.
Yes.
And then you do about 2 or 3 T-posts, and then you can stand the whole fence up.
Yeah, and the first fence we tried standing it up, one of us holding it, the other one trying to attach it, and then we found that it had spots where it was really loose. So then, didn't we go back and get the come along and then lay the fence down and then redo it?
We did 3 sides of the fence with the come along. First side we didn't.
Yeah, were you able to tighten that side? I don't remember if you ended up having to. I don't know. That was the first. Yeah, that was our day yard that we have the goats and chicken, the pullets and the meat birds.
Well, the big chickens were in there till we got the coop rebuilt.
Yes, the big chickens were in there, and then since then we've had multiple different pullets and meat birds, ducks, geese, more meat birds. We've had Freedom Rangers and Cornish Cross. Now we have more Cornish Cross in there.
I don't know how the Freedom Rangers taste, but so far the way they move around has impressed me.
Yes, which we've also found that just the fact of having any type of meat bird in with regular chickens makes a difference, because we have those 2 adult Cornish Cross that are still in there. They're very active. We got those. I looked at the date. I went back and looked, and it was April 15th. And now we're looking at August 1st. And they're both female, and they're both still alive. I'm pretty sure they're female. I've seen our new cockerel trying to mount one of them, but you know, not sure if they'll ever get to the part where they start laying eggs. It's too hot right now. Some of our layers aren't even laying right now because of the heat. But despite the heat, and you know,
their second summer.
Yeah, it is the second summer for some of our layers. We do have some that were from our second batch that should be laying by now, but we also did do a transition with them, with moving them from the day yard after we moved them, you know, like when we moved completely. Then we moved them from the day yard to the coop and run, and then we've introduced other chickens out there, so they've had a lot of changes. So stress can cause them to not lay as much. Heat, age, so they've had a lot of different factors, but
it's possible for them to molt in the summer too.
Well, one of them is molting, one of the speckled Sussex, and she's got a lot of.
So I got the first one down. I'm going to walk to the other end and tighten up the fence.
Yeah. And I'm gonna go down there, that way you can see it kind of tighten. Anyway, so we have 2 more Cornish cross that are in with the meat bird, well, in with the Freedom Rangers and the pullets and everything. They think they're chickens, I think, because we put them in at night inside just because they're smaller than the whole group of the rest of them, and sometimes they can get trampled on. We've noticed, you know, they'll start to pile up on top of each other, and it's not to keep warm because, I mean, it's summertime here, but they'll just pile up by the door of the poultry pen so that they can get out the next morning. And so we just bring those 2 inside. And then we have over here in this chicken tractor, we have 35 Cornish cross that we got recently. They're still too little to be moved along to the rest of the group. And you can see it's moving. Why? Because it moves so much?
Well, it also could be tightened up like it's supposed to.
Yeah, this is also the first time that we're dealing with the, what is this, a woven?
No, it's not.
What type is this?
I already did the other part of it.
Well, no, this is the second fence. It's the second time you've dealt with it with this same fence, but we haven't completed a fence this way. So this is a 4-foot fence. Did it come off? Oh, it was too much pressure. So it is possible to.
It just slid right off the.
To over tighten these. Let me see. Did it break the end piece?
It just slid right off.
How is it connected? I think.
What?
Oh, okay, I see.
So, give me the pliers.
Are they in the...
So, one of the things you can do to keep this end from slipping off again is to take this here and you roll it. Release it and then clamp it.
Yeah. So you have to go down there now and loosen it? Or are you just going to move the T-post over?
I'm just going to move the T-post over.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an exact science. I mean, he did measure them and have them, what, 10 feet apart? But, I mean, it's not going to hurt if that one's over just a little bit.
Yeah, hold this one. Hold this area of the T-post. Go over.
So we are going to put goats in here now, and the goal is to eventually put at least one adult cow in here, right? And then have her either get one that's, let me hold this straight, at least get one that's either pregnant or you got it? Anyway, so get one that's either pregnant or, you know, get a mom that just had a baby.
Maybe.
Or we could artificially inseminate. Oops, it's sticking. And the idea is to keep her for milk.
Okay. And
to raise up one or two each year for meat. Hand you what?
T-post clip tool and a T-post clip.
And the what? Oh, just one? Okay. So this is what they look like. We get these at Tractor Supply. They sell other ones.
A little over $5.
Yeah, they sell other ones that we originally got from what? Lowe's, Home Depot, something like that. Yeah. I'm sure those probably work fine, but we prefer these, or he prefers these.
I prefer them because they work with this tool really, really well.
Yeah.
The other ones use a fork type tool or whatever. A different tool.
And we'll see when we do end up getting into raising cattle if...
So if you mow the area that you're going to put the T-post down first, it helps.
Yeah, definitely. So you can see what you're doing?
Yep.
So we have 7 goats now. We're gonna see when we get into raising cattle if how they get along. I don't see there being a problem. If so, then we could at that point separate into 2 different paddocks. And alright, so now that he's got the first one in place, we stood the fence up, and it's easier once you're on the second one and to do the rest of the fence, to do it while it's standing. It's important for the first one to have it laying down though, so that you can tighten it up. That's gonna make it a lot easier for you to do the whole rest of the fence. He's putting clips on the T-post, he's put 3 of them on each one. And yeah, on the first one you'll put 4. And then we're gonna end up putting another T-post right here as well. So what we usually do on the corners to reinforce it once we connect the other fence to this one. We have the T-post about every 10 foot apart. You can go further if you want. We're doing 10, just that way it'll be secure no matter what kind of animal we have in here. If you notice,
no, I did 10 because the number of math is easier to work out.
If you notice, the holes are smaller at the bottom, and then as you go up, they get bigger. It's the type of fence this is. We got to work our way all the way down here to where it connects on this other side right here. And he stopped right around here. That was the end of the first roll. That was 330 foot, and we're gonna put a gate there.
Alright, pull on it again.
It's the same day that we were working on it. He just changed his shirt. Yeah, he was wearing a different color earlier. That's Texas heat for you. Went inside to cool down for a little bit and went ahead and changed his shirt. So my husband and the boys have finished just about all of the fence right here. And we got a gate in place. And it goes all the way up. There's the meat birds. Yeah, I'll bring you the zip ties. Anyway, so he's down here at this back corner where there's an existing fence, and he's finishing the last 10 foot.
So we're finishing up our goat fencing that been working on for about a month now between work schedule and
Weather.
Yeah, the weather has been pretty brutal.
Southeast
here.
Texas, a lot of rain.
Yeah, Southeast Texas, a lot of rain. So just finishing up 180 foot on one side, 230 on another, and another 180 foot across the back.
The only one you haven't had to put in is the...
Only fence I had to put in was a side fence, and it may appear a little lower than the other side, but it's actually, there's a small little water line that goes along that allows the water
And we may
to trickle to the
do this
back.
one later, but for now.
I'm putting in the last 2 post clip now. Hopefully can manage to figure out how to get it on here.
Under pressure, right? You've been doing this.
No, I'm probably going to take this one off because I need the spacing for it.
Yeah, I originally had him leave this 10 foot off because we were going to have the fence go along here where this T-post was and have it go all the way back here, right, and not have the existing fence.
So husbands, if your wife is asking you to build a fence and your initial thought is to do the 10 foot to start with, just remember, you can go ahead and do it. You can cut it out later. She tells me this after the fact, after I finished this whole run of fence.
Yeah, I told him, I was like, why didn't you just go ahead and put the 10 foot? Because he would have been done last night, actually.
Been done last night. At like 9:30 last night, I would have been completely done. But she decided that she wanted to run 10 foot straight across here and leave a gap in the fence. And I told her that the fence was the same size, that it wasn't going to make a difference.
Well, we were originally going to put a 5 foot fence on that side since there's dogs on the other side, and we have a dog that's going to be going in here. But
due to budgetary concerns at the moment, we can't afford to get the fence for that side, so we're going to try to swing it without it.
And it may not even be necessary to begin with, so where you can, when you're on a homestead, you're trying to be frugal and use the money elsewhere where it can serve a better purpose. Possibly animal feed, or you know.
Yeah, the amount of money that we'd spend in the additional fencing or whatever, if it's not needed, you know, that can go towards the purchase of a calf or whatever, which could feed our family.
Yeah, and we'll be able to put a calf in here with the goats and with the livestock dog.
Can I please get your assistance for this last part?
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this, and then we'll show you the finished product when we're done. All right, so my husband and I just got the rest of the fence finished, the last little 10 feet, and we moved our 7 goats and our one of our livestock dogs out here to their new paddocks, and as you can see, they're very happy. Plenty of tall grass and weeds and stuff for them to eat over here. That's our bottle baby. And we got Mocha, Bonnie, Clyde,
Ozzy, Motley, and Elsa, who was originally Elton from the previous owner before. They named her Elton because they didn't know that she was a girl. They thought she was a male. And we renamed her Elsa. Smiles is very excited to be over here. He's staying pretty close to the goats right now, but he's exploring. I'm pretty sure if I was able to be staying out here and watching him and recording, I would see him go around all the perimeter and check it all out. They haven't discovered, of course, the pond yet. They have plenty to do. I doubt they'll even go that far to discover the pond today. There's where it's higher, and then it kind of drops down a little bit more where the pond is. Eventually they'll be able to work on the wooded area, but for now, this is their new yard. So today is August 9th, and going to see how long it takes them to knock some of this back. They'll be happy that they have their little canopy now, because the first night we put them in here, we went to take Bo's kids home, so it was quite late when we got back, and so they made the most of it. They seemed happy that they had lots to eat. They didn't really know where they were going to sleep because, they lost their sniper tower. So, yeah, as the kids call it, when we moved in here. Not kids, but our teens called it that. And, anyway, so...
Press on there.
Huh?
Don't press on there.
Oh, I'm not. Yeah, so anyway, they have somewhere to sleep now and to get out of the rain. And once we get some of this, tall grass and weeds out of the way, we will be putting the other animals in here as we go. Probably start with the bigger chickens, and eventually put the ducks and the geese in there.